Planning Commission meeting, February 2nd, 2023. And the first on the present are
Evelyn Miller.
Collis Adams, Select Board Representative.
Patty Gale, Planning Assistant.
Jean Walker.
Andrew Chaplin. David Neiman.
Susan Tucker. First on the agenda is map 42, lot 6, completeness review request for the relief of the outer 50 of the 100-foot wetland surface water conservation district buffer. Hearing for a request to build a 22 by 28 foot garage with a 10 by 15 feet breezeway stairs addition. Total addition will be approximately 770 square feet, including the curbs. That will be attached to the existing house along with other on-set improvements. A request for relief from the outer WSWC district buffer is required per section 13.3.4 of the Goffstown zoning ordinance to allow for the encroachment within the outer 50 of the 100-foot buffer along Mountain Base Pond, which is designated as a surface water. The property is located at 29 McGillen Road, owned by James T. McKinn Jr., Revocable Trust, James T. McKay and Jr., and Nancy Nichols, trustee, Zone Agriculture and Wetland Surface Water Conservation Overlay District. Recommendations need to be forwarded to the planning board. Do we have someone here to, okay, just come forward and state your name and.
I'm Nancy Nichols.
I'm James McCann.
Welcome.
Yeah. And would you like to discuss what you're doing and?
Yes, we'd love
Sure.
to. So I think I see our plans there. This property is on McFarland Road. It's between McFarland Road and Mountain Base Pond. It's part of the 1950s subdivision. The house was originally constructed in about 1970 and lived in year-round by its original owner. The house is set into a moderate slope between the gravel driveway and parking area and the pond. The landscape generally steps down to the pond with the grade changes provided by rubber tire retaining walls that are still there. There's also a rubber-backed carpet patio at the edge of the water. The wetland scientist's report indicates that there are no wetlands on the property. There are also no trees on the property. We purchased the property as renovation ready, which really means that it needs a lot of work. I don't know if you've seen the pictures, but it's pretty ugly. What we want to do is make it pond friendly so we can live there and enjoy the natural setting in our old age. We propose a new septic system, a new garage in the footprint of the existing parking area to cover the cars and snow blower. Stairway addition to provide sheltered steps from the main house to the higher garage and parking level for use by old people, us. The addition would also house a handicap shower. Our proposed improvements actually reduce the amount of the impervious area on the property. Improvements also include native blueberry bushes to stabilize the soil where there is now a failed masonry retaining wall, and vegetation rather than crushed stone for erosion control and improved aesthetics. So the proposed garage and stairway addition are in that 50 to 100 foot distance from the pond, behind the house as viewed from the pond. In this area, we propose to replace the rubber tire retaining walls with the garage foundation and an interlocking concrete block wall. The impervious surface of the existing parking area would basically be exchanged with another impervious surface, which is the garage roof, but would protect, cover the cars and all the oil and debris that comes off cars. We did hear with the planning board last week. We were proposing a porous driveway, or we were, in between the garage and the shared driveway, but they voiced a concern about clogging of the porous driveway surface, which we originally showed on our plans. So you'll see it marked up. We have considered and think, yeah, they're right. We're going to be driving cars off of McFarland Road and the shared driveway, and it's a dirt road, so it's just going to track silt, sand, and debris. onto a porous driveway. So I do consider that, you know, the voids in the porous driveway would get clogged and it likely would fail. So we've taken that off the plan. But at the same time, we've also increased the extent of the grassy area to increase the pervious area a little bit more, and also to provide a visual, you know, barrier between the driveway, the shared driveway, and the leach field, so that anyone coming on the property won't accidentally drive on the leach field. So the overall proposed reduction in pervious impermeable area is now 1.5%. So we're still reducing the amount of impervious area. The wetland scientist report by T.F. Moran found that the proposed project will not compromise the functions, values, and condition of the neighboring surface water resource. They do make the caveat as long as during construction we're, you know, abiding by the sediment and erosion control plan, which we absolutely plan to do. So we look forward to your comments.
So most of the improvements and what you're doing in the back of the house, right? Nothing is going to be closer to the lake.
Right, correct. Well, actually, we're making improvements close to the lake. We're getting rid of the rubber-backed carpet and some trash and that
no
sort of thing, but
construction.
no structures. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have questions? David?
To me, it just seems like overall improvements to the site. You know, even if it's 1.5%, it's pretty small, but it's still less impervious area. So I mean, I'm looking at this as a very positive project going forward. I'm a little confused about the planning board comments regarding the driveway, the permeable driveway. I mean, if you don't have that, then what replaces it? Then wouldn't it be even less permeable? I don't get it.
It's basically, their point was that the porous paper would fail and become impervious, which it is now. It's basically not changing it from what it is now. But to compensate for that, we added some more grass area.
But if you don't have that system, then you have an impervious driveway anyway, so
Right.
why, I don't understand their concern with it failing. I don't see how that, it's not like that's creating something negative down the road at all, and if it works,
Well,
it's
in a
creating
way,
positive.
it can heave, it can do some things that you don't want it to do, as opposed to sand and gravel, which is, you know, constructed correctly, isn't gonna heave, so there's that.
Well, kudos for getting rid of the rubber tire retaining wall.
Thank you.
And actually, I think moving that, putting in a new septic system further
Oh,
away
for sure.
is
Yeah.
really, that's a wonderful improvement. I drove down there today when the ground was still frozen. That drive-in is going to be most interesting coming in the spring. But anyway, yeah, I see this really as more improvement to what they have.
And
And,
nothing's going closer to the lake, so no.
no,
So I'm assuming their concern with the porous pavers is maintenance and upkeep, because they will become clogged over time, the sediment, and render them impervious.
well, from that road, believe me, there's stuff
I
that's
think it
going to
won't
be
take
dragged
any
up.
time at all.
Right.
Driving on it a few times.
It is.
So I kind of think it's, I guess, not a well-conceived idea to begin with.
Anybody else have any concerns or questions or comments?
I have none.
Okay, does somebody want to make a motion on this to be sent to the planning board?
Oh, I'll make a motion to say that we recommend this plan go forward, and we recommend it because we believe there are some environmental advantages introduced by this plan, namely the removal of the rubber tire wall is a nice touch. The improving the septic system can't be anything but good.
Right.
And small reduction in impervious area. I mean, I think this is a step in a good direction from an environmental perspective. So.
And the removal of the rubber-backed carpet, that's it.
It's
Yeah.
gone too. Yeah, that one's a big one for me.
Okay, do we have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Susan, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Okay.
Who seconded it?
Susan,
Me, Susan?
okay.
Right, thank you.
You're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's a memo, we then send a memo to the planning board, right?
Yep.
Yes.
On this.
Yep,
We
you'll
just
have
did
it for
that.
when you guys go before them again.
Okay, thank you for
Thanks
coming
for
in and
coming.
all. Okay, next is map 10, lot 8-1-1.
There's this plat.
Request a signed wetland minimum impact expedited application for property located at 66 Tenny Road, owned by John and Judith Richardson, zone agricultural. Recommendations need to be forwarded to the state and to the planning board.
Hello.
Just state your name and well,
I'm Audrey Carr. I'm from Keach Nordstrom.
Welcome.
So you just want me to read about the sign?
This is our
Yeah, this
first
is the first
presentation,
time.
so I want you guys to know. And I have the
You
planning
can
board.
relax,
This-
we're pretty laid back.
I know, I figured that.
I have the planning board on this too, only because this will eventually have to go to the planning board.
They did a subdivision, they did like the.
They went to CBA.
Yeah,
And now they'll have to go to.
yeah, the TF Moran's doing
That
that
part.
portion, yeah. So, I'm just gonna read the narrative.
Yep,
that
go
I
right
have.
ahead.
On behalf of Jonathan and Judith Richardson, Keith Nordstrom has prepared this wetland application to construct a driveway over an intermittent stream, Tier 1, to access the buildable portion of the property. The proposed lot is 2.7 acres and will be accessed from Tenny Road by a 50-foot wide strip of land that roughly follows an old woods road to the building site. The stream crossing is located downstream of a large wetland and at a narrow section of the stream channel. The land is wooded and surrounded by residential development. The proposal seeks driveway access to the south side of the parcel. There will be one wetland impact to allow to the buildable portion of the lot. Wetland impact is 670 square feet and 30 linear feet of intermittent stream channel and proposes an 18 by 30 RCP culvert laid to grade with head walls. So in that, I think there's the subdivision plan and then the wetlands impact plan.
Yeah, I mailed you a copy of the actual, she gave me copies for you all, the minimum expedited.
okay, we have any questions on this? Right.
Okay. This was
That is-
mailed yesterday?
Would be,
No, it was mailed to the meeting that got
you're
continued.
gonna be,
It's in your, right there, it's right there. You got it.
it's in your green folder.
In the
back.
green folder?
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. I know, I couldn't, I mean, come on, Collis, where is it? So, all right.
So you have a crossing with the road driveway?
Yeah, so a driveway it's to access the portion.
They did receive a variance for this proposed subdivision.
Because I think there was a frontage, right?
Yeah,
Was a frontage issue, yeah.
yeah, I think the strip's like 230.
Okay, and they must have already got the approval for culverts and,
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah, so once we get the
There's already an
wetlands
existing
impact,
house.
like the state will
impact.
approve it and then whatever comments they have.
Yeah, then they'll be
This-
going to
this lot
planning,
is
that's
being
when
subdivided
they'll go through
into-
what engineering for drainage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This would be the inner lot. This would be the driveway.
any questions on this from?
Okay, just to back up a bit, so on the new driveway where it crosses the impact area of 670 square feet, could you go over again how that will be? That'll be a culvert, 18 by 30, is that?
Yeah, so it's, yeah, that's the size of the,
So it's a round pipe, this isn't an
Yeah.
open bottom?
yeah.
Do you mind showing us on the map then what you're talking, each
So
question.
I'll flip it over because this is just like the subdivision plan.
Right.
And then this plan, this closer one up is the wetland plan, but this will be the crossing area right here. This is the wetland, and the pipe's gonna be laid to grade there, and then they're planning on building a house up here, but they haven't, I don't know what's going on with this TF Marine thing, all that kind of stuff, but yeah, we're just trying to get a driveway across there.
There's only one lot coming off of this piece of property, correct?
Yeah, they have that driveway access to that main house, and then that's the
Yeah,
only
that's
other
okay.
access.
Kind of-
Yeah, the other access would be
It's
through other
clear.
lots, yeah.
And this intermittent stream, does it completely dry up in the, during the
Yeah.
summer or not?
It's seasonally flooded. There's also pictures in that application as well.
Oh, yeah, totally dry.
So, Patty, the subdivision itself has been approved then?
No, they went and got a variance to do a subdivision. Now they're submitting for a minimum minimum expedited wetlands permit for a driveway crossing.
And we have to
Once they
comment
get
on
that, they're gonna finish their engineering and come in for a subdivision.
So we have
Oh,
to comment on the
that's
wetlands.
We're doing the wetland, she's only here for this, not the actual subdivision.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, that's what I was confused by, I thought.
Yeah.
I don't,
I mean,
I don't
you can
see
hold
any,
off
I don't see any
comments to
big lot
planning.
lines.
Okay, she's just doing, she wants
Yeah,
her permit
she's-
signed,
Yeah.
so she
Yeah.
can take them on.
Up
That's
to the
That's what
state.
she's in here, to have these signed.
Right,
So she
okay.
can go for the permit for
Yeah.
that. So we have any issues with her moving on with that? Because you'll be back when it goes to the subdivision, correct? Somebody
Yeah,
will
so
be.
I won't be back.
But somebody will.
Yeah, TF Marin will, once I submit this and I get approval
Right.
from the state, then they can proceed with the
Right, she's just
subdivision.
doing this part of it, the wetlands part.
Yep.
So I guess I'm just curious, so then there's a house on either side of what's proposed to be the driveway. Has this already been subdivided?
No, that's what we're
No.
talking
No.
about.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no,
That's what I was-
That'll have to go.
she's just going to try to get the wetlands permit, so then they can go for
For the
septic-
driveway.
For the driveway. So
Or
she's just,
are they having
right.
to?
So she's just
Okay.
going step one.
Another firm, a different firm is gonna be doing the subdivision.
Okay.
They were hired just to do the minimum.
She's doing step one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And someone will be back with the,
Yeah. the
Driveway
TF
and
Marin
the
then.
And that'll have more detail on
So,
drainage and stuff.
what we have to decide is, do we send her on to get her permit? All we have to do is vote to say that we can sign this.
Yeah.
And you support moving
So
forward.
she needs our support to go forward with the
The state.
application.
Okay, so is that gonna come back and bite us when we see what the wetlands are on here and
And then we say,
we
yes,
say-
we've already.
We say yes, that
we've
we're gonna
approved
be able
it?
to cross them, or,
Well, it's a
I'm
driveway, and you are
confused. I'm
allowed to
confused.
cross the wetlands for a driveway.
Yeah.
okay,
Good, right?
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
If they have,
So you're doing wetland
They haven't
delineation and
submitted-
assessments under Chris Danforth,
Yeah.
mentorship?
Yeah, you actually know my dad. My dad's Tom.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. My dad told me to tell you to say hi to him.
Yeah, tell him I said,
I actually have a
you tell him he
question.
shouldn't be sending you here alone.
I know. I wanted him to come. He didn't want. He's retired now, so.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Collis, I have a question about that, though. You're saying that you can't deny it, it's just a driveway, they have to be able to cross it, but they haven't subdivided the land yet. So I thought we had,
Well-
it's saying it's their only,
Well, well, they only have one other access point, so they'd have to share, right? And that'd be,
Well, technically, they could just do a driveway and not subdivide it. As long as it meets driveway separation, you can have two driveways on one property.
So have they avoided and minimized to the greatest extent practicable? Which it certainly appears that's the case.
So she's looking for approval. I know.
She's looking for us to sign.
Yeah.
And the state, like,
For the
ultimately, like,
state.
the state's the one that ultimately approves and if they don't, then they don't approve it, but they can't deny us access.
Yeah.
on there.
So if it
And they'll
goes-
have, like,
If it
comments
goes
if
to
they
the
need
state
to.
and they need to make changes as a result of it going through the state process, they have to
They'll
come
come
back.
back again
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, with a revised plan.
Yeah, there's an existing house on one side and where they're looking at,
So we're actually
This is
not
one on both
approving
sides.
any,
no,
No, it's
There's
all
a
gonna
house.
be end up state approval anyways.
and this is the,
And
Oh, I
have to
guess
go
what I'm
back
doing
and
is
ask the
looking
town
at,
clerk for
is this a
signature,
house
too.
and this a house?
those are different lots.
Well, that's what I was asking.
She's showing, that part is showing you just the specific of the wetlands crossing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
and,
what that plan is.
it's like
and
a
that's
blow-up.
where the,
Man, oh man.
this area is like where they want to subdivide it all.
So,
How deep is the pond?
It's the stream?
It says ponded, so is that the
well, we're not
seasonal
impact-
ponded?
That, we're not impacting that. We didn't delineate that area, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
so the total acreage is 15.08 acres of this whole parcel.
Yeah.
And there is an existing house on it, and they want to subdivide off just under 3 acres off of it.
who's going to say something?
And the new lot that they'd be creating is the one they want to do their driveway crossing on.
Is there any intention of doing more than one more lot?
No,
No.
it's just
They wouldn't
the
be able to.
single
I didn't
family
think
house
yeah,
that they
because
want
of
to
all the
do.
wet apps.
And that's gonna be later and they're just trying to get the driveway, to be accessed.
Give you that high level. So if you look at this picture in the back,
Okay,
that's the existing property.
And then they'll do a little.
Or if you can see it across the room.
Yeah, I got a bunch
I
of
got my
pictures in there
binoculars in
too.
the car if you want.
But this will,
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
okay, so there's existing property,
Yeah.
and up here, there's a house and buildings.
right.
You have these two fingers that come out to Tenny
This is
Road.
crossing this whole
The
stream.
top one is currently the driveway that serves this house.
Got it.
They wanna put another driveway in this other finger
Yeah, they hear.
to subdivide a lot on the bottom here.
Okay,
We're
so
not-
they
That was already
own
there.
both of those fingers,
That's
is
already
what you're
there.
telling
Oh,
me.
Yes,
that
it's
was
currently
already
it's one
crossing.
lot.
Yeah.
Okay,
They
Plan
wanna put
is
one
to
here.
subdivide into two, but first step is they wanna get a driveway,
okay,
and that's all.
thank you. Just didn't understand how they, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That helped a lot, thank you.
And it's only using, like, you can
Okay,
use
what do you-
this one, it can't be carrying on the floor.
Yeah, it's
If any.
not a very,
Yeah.
nothing crazy.
Okay.
So we're not approving that they're gonna be able to build or anything except
You're just
Yeah,
doing the
just-
driveway.
just-
just a driveway
Crossing.
crossing.
Yeah,
Okay, and that's,
yeah.
so, I know. How are we at that?
This is unusual. I don't think we've ever had anything that come in this way before.
No, it usually comes in the other way.
The other way, yeah. That's why I couldn't understand.
So are we ready to make a motion and vote on this, or?
Yes, I think David's ready. I think he
I
knows.
made the last motion, I'm not doing this
It's
one.
probably confusing because there's two different firms handling.
Right.
Yeah.
One's doing one part of it, one's doing another part of it.
So the current lot is kind of up on the hill when you look at the topo map, and this other lot will be coming down that hill. Some of that is gonna be a little wet, I would think. Where's the?
Two.
I know we're not approving the lot at this point, but still I'm curious as to see what this is leading up to.
Well, I think they're saying is now, what I see is that she's saying it's an intermittent stream that where they're crossing,
Crossing.
but then there's a ponded area.
Yeah. And we're not impacting any of that. It's just that little stream and then the buildable port where they want to build, there's no wetlands up there. It's all upland.
Well, the ponded area is on somebody else's property, on the
Right.
Yes.
10.8,
Right,
and then it,
but it doesn't, yeah, it looks really separate, and then they may have this
Yeah,
intermittent.
this area just runs on through that little spot and then,
So the question is whether we allow them to cross the wetlands.
Right,
Yep.
right, basically, that's what we're saying.
That's all we're saying.
That's all we're saying. We're gonna allow them to cross the wetlands.
I don't see it.
I don't be concerned.
And that's the best access.
I
Yep.
guess
Where you
it has
plan
to
the
be, well,
driveway.
this is close here, but it
But
must
that's
be the best
minimally-
access.
Yeah, and that's the
That's
only
the other
access
one.
point we
Oh, that's
have.
right, because you keep saying that.
Right, so it's already,
So if they
those are all
didn't
two
show-
legal, I mean,
Yeah.
one for the
On
house,
our tax
and then they want, if they do
That's how-
subdivide.
This one is
Yeah,
already.
so I don't see it.
Yeah.
I do have another question, because when some of these came in years ago, I don't know when the first one came in, the house that exists up there,
Yeah,
whether, oh, you have no clue either. Because
What
a
are you
lot of
asking
times-
me? I
a lot of
don't know.
times
I wasn't here when
well,
that
a lot
was
of times,
subdivided.
oh, you weren't, okay, because a lot of times we'll look at something and we'll see the wet, and we'll say, well, we'll let you
cross.
Do
cross
one.
and do
but
one lot, but we don't want to see another subdivision. We don't want
Well,
to see
that
the
would have
lot
happened in the
subdivided.
past, though.
But that's in the past, but doesn't that still carry through when that, does that?
I don't,
Have
do
any
you know when this lot was
restriction?
created? Because this is, I've never seen a subdivision on Tenny Road.
Well, I don't think they, no, and I don't think they've impacted any other wetlands on the property to get to that house anyways.
Right, well, that's what I meant, that other house doesn't seem to have the wetland impacts, and so then,
No.
this is where it was allowed to go through, so there was no wetland impact.
Yeah.
Well, and what
But-
will be carved out, this,
I mean, it's
it's,
fine, but.
the existing property will continue to come down narrow, and then at the base it will still be part of the original property, and that's where the wetland, that's where another wetland exists with a 100-foot setback, is that
This
correct?
is
So
dry.
be absolutely no impact to that wetland,
No. The only
Just
impact is that,
the
that
intermittent
crossing. Yep.
drainage.
And the proposed impact is 670 square feet.
Yeah, it's small.
It's small. Culvert laid at grade with head walls.
And there's existing wood road there too, so it's kind of,
You're following
It
the
all
wood
makes
road,
sense,
correct?
yeah.
I-
Yeah, and if you go on the property, it's, you can see the road and then as you can see it going up the upland area as well, to where they want to build.
And they'll have to get a driveway permit for this too.
Yeah, they'll have to come
And
and do.
if, like, they're saying it's an 18-inch by 30 RCP culvert, laid at grade with the head walls, and
And if there is a concern with
Yeah,
handling
almost.
anything, I think the engineer may catch some of that too.
Yeah, and if the state needs us to, if the state needs any change for like the type of culvert, they'll send us a RFMI and we'll just have to change it. So the state will send comments back if they have anything.
I really don't see any problem.
You know,
No,
you,
no.
you,
Right.
because we're just doing a little,
Yeah.
They
And
actually have a legal
Yeah.
access anyway, and
Right.
this is the
So,
only one to
Evelyn,
cross
do you wanna
over, and
make a
I don't think that
motion
looks
to,
like a bad crossing.
do you want to
anyway.
make a motion to recommendation?
No, I don't feel like I know what I'm saying.
To forward it to the state, that's what we have to do,
We're-
Sign-
okay.
Sign the minimum
Sign the application.
yeah,
To sign the
and
application.
to sign the application, yeah.
So I move the Conservation Commission sign the application, be sent off to
Okay,
this.
we need a second
Then
on
they'll
that.
send it off to the state.
I'll second that.
Oh, geez, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
All right, so we should put all of this together, right? Back in this,
No, I got the one she signed. I'd like to
Yeah.
keep one of your guys' copy for,
Yeah, and I'll be bringing, cause I actually have to put,
So
I gotta
you wanna
send some
sign
letters
this?
to
I have
the
it all
abutters
open.
as well.
Oh, here.
I gotta bring some, I'll bring more to the town.
you have to sign it 5 times.
okay, so that'd go to.
Sign,
Yeah,
right,
so
correct date.
I'll take those ones and I gotta put some more information in there for the state.
Okay.
and then bring
She has to have the town clerk sign these too.
And I need a check.
Okay, let's see.
Well, tell your dad, hey, we're a really easy group to work with.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you want all these back?
No, I'll keep
just those
those.
four is
We'll keep
fine,
those.
and
I wanna,
then,
Coming up.
I wanna amend Collis's statement, we're a really easy group to work with if it's a good and decent plan.
Right.
If
Well, I
it's
feel
not,
like
we're
that's
hell
not
to
good.
work with.
They give you a hard time.
And if you don't wanna keep it, I'll take them back for the file,
Did you see that
but
one?
these are the ones she
Great.
needs.
Oh, really?
I have the ones she needed
That
signed.
was hilarious.
I did too.
hopefully I'll be back tomorrow for the town.
Yes.
So now I'm worried about getting it in the proper sequence, and was it all folded into one big package?
Three sheets.
Okay, got it.
This is the three sheets.
The bottom one's a different thing, which any of us had. All right, feel like you're grading, you know?
I always feel so bad when I bring them to the town
Do you want me to get that?
Hollis, they're okay.
All righty.
Did I give you back all your papers? Yeah.
This.
There you go. You're welcome.
Great.
Thank you so much.
A lot of waste.
You too.
No,
But I don't think I want to look at it.
here's one.
Those were for us. I asked for extra
Yes.
copies so I could send them to you.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay, next on the agenda is map 12, lot 2, and map 9, and lot 64. Completeness review, conditional use permit review, hearing of public service of New Hampshire, Eversource Energy, easement owner for a proposal to replace overhead electrical utility structures along the existing C-196 and Q-171 transmission lines as part of an ongoing rebuild project. Some of the new replacement structures and site improvements will be located within the Wetland Surface Water Conservation District. A conditional use permit is required per section 13.3.4 and section 13.3.7.1 of the Conservation Zoning Ordinance to replace structures within the Wetlands and Surface Water Conservation District. The easement area located off of Portage Road and Shanty Road, zone agriculture and wetlands and surface water conservation district. Recommendation is needed to be forwarded to the planning board. We have, okay.
Sorry, I have to read all that.
Yes, okay, well, just state your name and,
My name is Lindsay White. I work for GZA Geoenvironmental. We filed the application on behalf of Eversource, so we're representing that. If you recall, we were here back in July for a larger scope project of larger number of pole replacements to be replaced on the C-196 and Q-171 transmission lines. That was approved and that work is ongoing currently. And Eversource is looking to, under the same scope, add on these 3 additional structures. These 3 are located off Portage Road on the north side. And we do have to cross a couple of wetlands to reach these utility poles as well. What happened was they had inspections happen later in 2022 for the 2023 work that was coming up. And we were already permitting for the original scope of work, and then after their inspections late in 2022, they identified additional poles that they wanted replaced. And so we're trying to permit them so that they can be done under the same scope and not delayed later. But these 3 are located in a different area from the rest of the work, but will be on the same construction timeline. The total project, everything is projected to be finished up, I believe, by fall this year. And similar with the other work, we'll use the temporary timber matting to cross the wetlands. We'll file a statutory permit by notification for this additional work, which those have gone through and been approved through the state. And so our last step is coming to you guys for conditional use permit.
okay. Do you have any questions, concerns?
Well, we see so many of these that after a while it just.
It's like often.
I know, we were going, do you really have to go back? Didn't we just?
You know, and I was saying the same thing as you. I said, they've been very, very thorough. We've been, I
Yes.
think,
Yeah.
really, really impressed with the degree of thoroughness and being careful. And actually, some of the upgrades that we see going on I think the community is very, very pleased with it. So I said the same thing, wow, that's.
They have to come back again.
We want to make sure that, and it was because of butter notifications, of course, need to make sure that everyone's aware of what's going on, so. And we did go to the planning board was it last week now? Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, all the things that we would normally ask about and inquire into, it's all spelled out in great detail
Yeah, I know.
in the plan. I mean, like the best management practices and
And we did incorporate
Yeah,
too,
it's a good
ahead of
one.
time, the geotextile fabric under that top layer of matting. I know that was a discussion point last time. So, make sure that got included ahead of time.
Yeah. Okay, do we have any concerns, or does somebody want to make a motion that with best practice?
I make a motion that we forward this to the planning board, following the best practices that they presented in this plan.
I second
Recommend.
that.
David seconds, all those in favor?
Good motion.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstaining?
Thank you.
And I don't know if you can, truly.
Thank you
the
for coming
community
in
has been very
again.
impressed with.
Really?
Yeah,
That's great to hear.
yeah, and I think.
We don't
and
always get
especially-
we said we don't always get like the great comments, so that's,
No,
I was very
really,
excited to
they
hear
really have,
that.
not only that, but just the clearing of the trees and the lines and trying to open things up, and then when we have big storms, are there, right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really impressive, I have to
Okay,
say.
well,
I just smile
we
because
thank
they
you.
rattle off these line numbers like we know it.
I know.
We did an alphabet game once to go through and see if we could name every line for every, I learned the alphabet, we made it through the whole thing, so it's,
So I'll forward the comments on to planning.
thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you
good
very
night.
much. Do you
Okay.
need to have
We-
all of this stuff?
we have-
Yeah.
I have my copies here as well, so, I think planning board has their copy as well.
She's all set, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
we have
Thank you.
corrections and
Very nice.
acceptance
Click
of the
right up here.
minutes from November 16th, 2022. The only thing I saw is on page 1, it's call us. Call us instead of call us.
So on page 1 where it says call us, should be changed to call us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
I think
How
that'd
many
be,
down?
And Adam to Adams.
Yeah, that's
And
Call us
to Adams.
that'd be a good name for a consulting company though, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Call
call
us,
us.
Adam.
Did
Can
anybody?
you, do you know how many lines down it was?
It's, I don't know, it's right
These two
here,
I
right?
just checked too.
I'll put a little line.
All right, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines up.
Okay.
I just want, so Gail does the minutes, she knows what we're talking about.
Okay, do we have any other comments or
Yeah,
somebody?
on page 3, where it's discussion on sidewalk of November 1st, 2022. Down in this discussion where the people who actually had been on the walk were making their comments about what they saw. And then it says, David Neiman said there's a very old truck and some mattresses. No, I
Oh, no,
didn't.
you weren't even there,
I wasn't
David.
even on the walk, so
Oh,
I don't know what context that came
No, I
out
don't
of.
think, I
There's
know I
one of
didn't
us,
pay,
so-
no, but I didn't put
Was
that
there an
in.
old truck and mattresses?
Oh, yeah.
So maybe she meant, was it maybe
Maybe,
it was you?
maybe.
Maybe she meant
Was
to
it
say,
Andy?
she did, maybe got confused as to who said something.
it's Andy.
David,
So
I
we're
didn't
gonna
put
make
that
it
in the
Andrew.
report.
Andrew, it was you.
That's fine.
It was page, this change is on page 7,
Three.
page
Page 3 of 6.
3 of 6.
Under the discussion on the sidewalk.
And it was the mattress and truck.
Here, got
Well,
it.
you
Got it.
picked right up on that.
Okay.
Anything else?
Greatest you
Andrew?
words.
Yeah, page 4, call us his name again.
At the end, you found
Page
Yeah.
4, call us.
Says, call this Adams.
Oh, call
Call
this.
this Adams.
Call us. Not
Yeah.
call us.
I think
that's
somebody's
right in the middle
I
of
think
page.
Has it
somebody's
gone through
using
the whole
voice,
Right in the middle.
voice
No, it's just
recognition
different
software.
things, yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if it's like one of
Looks
those
like it's being
speech things that
transcribed.
It might be, yeah.
transfer.
well, she says that, right, in some places.
That would make sense.
It's not
Call
like that
this-
everywhere.
No,
No.
it isn't.
We find anything else?
Yeah.
Okay, then, somebody make a motion or accept these?
I'll move that we accept the minutes with the corrections.
We need a second on that?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Okay.
Okay.
Now we have We need a formal vote to recommend to the select board to accept the land on map 42, lot 46, off of South Uncanunic as a conservation, land. We need a motion on that.
I'll move to accept that land that's being gifted to the.
Motion to recommend.
And second on that?
Second.
David?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We also want to thank Chuck Farberg for his many years as a conservation member. I believe the letter went out to him for that. And we have information on the milfoil treatment for Glen Lake and upstream. The cost will be $9,495.
So I have a question about that. So previously, there was a proposed reduction to our budget, most of it coming from milfoil treatment. Now we have this plan for all this treatment upstream, which they finally had looked at based on all the information, thankfully, that Andy Cataret provided. Do we still have the money to pay for this proposed treatment after that budget reduction?
I think we do.
I think you do.
I think
Yes,
Yeah.
we do, don't
Because
we?
you might not, downstream might not be that much. Depends.
Okay, well, just double checking.
well, the budget right now
Because
is
the budget's,
13.5.
yeah, the budget's there. It hasn't been finalized yet.
Okay.
Well, the budget's gone through the budget committee.
Yeah, the
They're the ones
the
who
budget
reduced it
committee.
again. They reduced it, the select board did by their recommendation, and then they reduced it, and now it goes.
All right, well, I just thought it was a good time to double check, because if it was short, we could bring that up at town meeting
We're
and say,
talking about upstream.
hold on, we were all in favor of this, but as it turns out.
Inflation.
Yeah,
But if we're good, we're good.
we're supposed
You know, I'm just curious, remember years ago, we went to Manchester and said, you know, you own part of this lake?
we did.
And they actually were quite surprised, but then they did cough up some money
To
for.
Damascus.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
wonder if they're still continuing to do any of that, or could,
I don't know if Mike does that. Does he ask them?
Yeah, he does all the running around for Namaski, but I don't know if he's approached them or not. They've been kind of going down a lot on that end,
going down?
on the cost.
On the cop.
Like the
Okay.
cost
Oh, I
over
see
the
what you're
years has
saying. It's-
gone
it's-
really, for milfoil treatment has decreased.
Right,
Glen Lake didn't have to have anything last year.
No, and we-
right, so
we
what's
asked you
up,
to do
it's being
upstream,
reduced
so that
up
got
here
included.
so much that they're okay, good, all right,
Okay.
okay.
We have open space, David?
Just updated information. So on the Clark Ridge project, I'm sure many of you have already seen some news in the PLC newsletter, since we haven't had a meeting for quite some time now. But, you know, various grants were applied for to support that project. We received I'm sorry, my brain just shorted out.
You told me too.
I'm,
It wasn't the
this
arms.
is old age, forgetting the name of something. I'm sorry.
No, are you kidding, you're talking to all of us except.
We applied for 4 grants.
You did the
Somebody
arms.
say the name of the main grant program, please. This is embarrassing.
L-chip?
L-chip, thank you. I'm sorry, but this happens to me all the time. My brain just shorts out.
David,
So we
everybody's-
received, we applied for and received $200,000 from
Oh.
L-chip. We applied for and received $24,000 from Moose Plate. I think that's their maximum, actually. We applied for and received $20,000 from the Merrimack Conservation Partners. We applied to ARM for an ARM grant of $300,000. We're not quite certain about that one yet. In general, it was approved, but the Army Corps of Engineers has a major voice in those grant awards. And they were concerned that, the statement was they were concerned about agricultural use in the area that was being proposed as the buffer. I'm a little confused by that because previous ARM grants have included hayfields. And I don't know why the distinction this time, if it's a change in policy or whatnot, but
What, are they worried about agriculture?
Well,
I mean, I
so
know there's a
they're
pond way
wanting-
at the across the road of down the,
I'm not gonna go into the
No.
details because I
Okay.
don't
All
have
right.
it in front of me here. The point is, they weren't in favor of 100% of the area being proposed under an easement that they would be supporting. So, it's not, forget the grant, it's, we want you to redraw the lines a bit, reconfigure the portion of the easement that will be covered, which means so the additional easement document will be created. That means extra expenses and extra work, but it also means some reduction in the area of what the ARM grant would have covered. So there'll be some reduction in the value of the ARM grant. Don't know what that's going to be yet. That's still under discussion, under negotiation. Until there's a final approval, I don't want to throw out any numbers. But we'll probably be short a little bit. And so PLC will be looking at other ways to cover it, looking at other potential sources. They might ask us to put some more in, but we don't have a lot more to put in. We don't know where it's going to end up yet, but the project's going to go through. I'm confident of that. It's just, every now and then you hit a hiccup, and we hit a hiccup on this. So hopefully by the next meeting I can say something more certain and have exact numbers and figures. So I'm not going to start making the rounds with select board and then ultimately planning board and all that for the hearings until they have all the exact facts, because otherwise it's just going to go to these hearings and say, well, it's approximately, that doesn't cut it. So, and this wouldn't close till the end of June anyway, so we'll have plenty of time for that. So overall, the news is very good.
I was going to say,
Applied
it's
for-
very encouraging what you've done so far. It's really,
Applied for 4 grants and
Yeah.
really money coming from all 4, 100% for 3 of them. Got to be somewhat less on the 4th one, and so we may have to do a little extra work to make everything line up.
well, that's,
Yeah, okay, well,
I'm
thank you,
still very
David, for that
impressed,
report. And I
David, with
know
what you've done.
you're ready to move on. It's like, you got it,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, we want
yeah. So, okay, do
to,
we,
that's all.
no, is there anything else? Okay, I know you're gonna do a photo, but we'll do it for
Oh,
adjourn
yeah.
first,
Oh,
right?
photos.
Oh,
Yeah.
make a motion
Are we
to,
at that end, to adjourn?
we're gonna make a motion to adjourn?
No, well, could I just mention Jane?
No?
Well, you can let him know, but she's gotta apply.
Oh, I know she has to apply. I
Yeah,
just wanted to
yeah,
mention
no.
it, but then I have to tell her to
I
apply.
already talked to
Okay.
her about that.
Okay,
Why can't we mention it?
You can
What are we
mention
talking about?
No,
I can
I'll
just
be
mention
kidding.
it.
Somebody's expressed an interest? that's
Yeah,
no problem.
Yeah, that's great.
yeah,
So Jane Raymond was an old member and then went off board when she went into
Former
full-time, former, okay,
She's not old.
former, yes.
I'm an old
And
member.
she was teaching, all right.
okay.
And she was a very good member. And so
Yeah.
I was talking with her the other day about something else for Garden Club. And then she says, boy, I was really, because she just went into retirement from teaching. And said, I was really thinking about conservation. I said, that's great. I'll see if we have an opening. And
So
talk
she's,
Jean.
yeah, but I had,
But I did, today I was thinking, gee, she's gonna have to
yes, and that's okay.
apply
That's that be-
first and then
rather
go
than-
through the selectmen, really, because it's,
Well, you guys they'll want a
They'll come
recommendation.
to us for a recommendation.
Okay.
After she applies.
okay, all right.
So that's,
I'll get
that's,
right
yeah.
after her. Yeah, Great.
Okay,
We'll have
But
her-
anyway-
We'll have her come in, we'll grill her.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, stake her out, and
Yeah.
no, that's
Okay.
wonderful. And there is an opening, they said.
There's an alternate.
Alternate opening, so.
okay, so now, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All
Second.
those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, yeah,